Very good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you. And we have again Brother Prakash with us. Welcome, Brother Prakash, and very good morning to you.
Thank you. Let's take a few moments in silence before we start. Om Shanti. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, once said, and he said it very nicely, also a philosopher, he said that the quality of your happiness in life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So sometimes what we think is very difficult is as simple as just creating some nice thoughts. So if we could just create thoughts in a nice way, then we could be happy. But it may not be so easy. It's not just about having a positive thought and trying to be optimistic about things. Well, that will help, certainly. But it's a more way of living where we are able to draw from positivity, like a reservoir that is inside us. And so I'm not just seeing things which are not happening well and saying, oh, it's good, but I'm able to understand things from a more deeper perspective. And so today we're going to try and understand that source. What is the source of these thoughts? Where do they come from? And how can I go to the seed of positivity? How can I go to the seed where I can see things much more different? I can believe it. And then I know that there is positivity in what I'm actually seeing. And I'm not just making it look like that. And so that seed is the big question in terms of who am I? So we have thoughts, we have words, actions, and feelings that come from your thoughts. And then we have our habits, which come from the thoughts as well. And then we go into character and destiny. So from the thoughts, they say the destiny is decided. Before our thinking, even before we can create a thought, we have something there called awareness. The awareness that I have creates a thought. Now, let me give you a very nice example. And this has happened many times. So there are two people who are driving a car. And this is in a place which is very strict with rules and regulations. I know many places, the rules and regulations can be easily bent and broken and you can get away with it. But here is a place which is very, very strict with rules and regulations. And so two people are driving the car, and by mistake, they don't observe a red signal, and they break the red signal and they go through. And what happens is one of them happens to be the child of the president of that country, and the other one is a civilian. Both of them break the rule, And that's considered to be a large offense. One of the most biggest offenses in driving is breaking a red signal. And so there is the civilian who breaks a signal and then he feels very tense. He says, oh, what's going to happen to me now? I'm going to have a huge fine. My car's going to be impounded. I may even serve a few days, weeks, or months in prison. Whereas the other person, who's the son or child of the president, doesn't bother so much, breaks the signal, and then says, okay, I did a mistake. I'll mount to that mistake again. But I'm quite safe and secure because I know that since I'm the child of the president, I don't think anything much is going to happen to me. It will be taken care of because of the influence that I have, because of the connection that I know. Both of them do the same, let's say, mistake, but one person responds in a very different fashion, whereas the other person has a lot of anxiety and stress. Why? Because of the awareness of who am I. When the person who feels that I am somebody who can easily manage this problem, I don't heed too much to negative thoughts. Because when I know that I am secure and safe, there's no point for me to think that way. And we have noticed how different people respond very differently just because of the way they have that confidence about themselves. Whereas others in the same situation can crumple. Simple in the office, there's a boss. The boss is, admonishing two of them. One takes it easy. The other one really gets very tense and nervous. It happens at home as well. You see one sibling very strong, the other sibling can be very weak in that sense. In a more psychological space is what I'm speaking. So the question is, this awareness that we have has a very important connection with the thoughts that I create and the quality of thoughts that I create. What is the awareness that is the real one, the truth? There are two ways you can look at yourself, two identities that we can have of the self, two very distinct awarenesses that we can hold. One, which is a very clear identity that we have in front of us, which is this body. I am this body. This is my age, my gender, my background, my educational qualification. This is how rich I am. This is the number of possessions I have with me. And in the society, this is my position, sorry. So your paycheck, your position, your possessions, the place you come from, all these P's that we can look at. That's a very physical identity that we can hold of ourselves. There's one problem with this physical identity. It's temporary. It's ever changing. Your position keeps changing. You could be the president today, tomorrow you may not. You could have a huge paycheck today, tomorrow you may not. You might have these possessions today, tomorrow they will become old. They could devalue. They might just be taken away by the government, or they might be, for some reason, if there's a calamity, they just get buried away or they're taken away. So all these things are subject to change. And so if I'm going to hold an identity and my whole awareness is based on the physical, then I am subservient. I become a slave. And also I'm constantly moving in ups and downs. Ups and downs. Also, I'm so physically oriented that when somebody comes and says, you look so nice, I feel good. When they come and say, you look a little old, I don't feel nice. Hey, how come you don't look good today? Or you don't look very presentable today? Because it's all about my looks. Or my intelligence and my wisdom. I'm always used to giving those great, nice, wise ideas that sometimes in the meeting, I don't give those ideas, somebody else gives those ideas and they are appreciated, I am not now. So how do I feel? And that's why it's so important for us to use these. Certainly, these facilities are there for me to use for me to distinguish myself from the rest, fair enough. But if I hold that as my awareness, and if that's what becomes who I am, then I'm in deep trouble. What is the other awareness that I can actually have, which is a more truer identity, which is eternal, the seed of positivity? And this is about consciousness, really. It's about the consciousness. So one is consciousness, awareness that I am the body. The other consciousness or awareness is that I am a spiritual being in the body. I am a spiritual being in the body. So it's not that I am the body and I have a spiritual experience, but I am the spiritual being and I have a physical consciousness or a physical experience. So it's important for us to reverse this around and realize that I'm a spiritual being, eternal, and I have taken the body temporarily for a period of time to fulfill a purpose. And I am moving on. The body is young, it becomes old. The soul is eternal. It doesn't age. But it's becoming wiser. And as you take this Raj Yoga course, it's the real program that helps you to straight away go to the core of that space of who you are. Because there's a very intrinsic thirst to discover the self. Really, who am I? Because there are a lot of people in the world that are having what we call an identity crisis. Because they've been chasing after things they thought they wanted, because they thought they were something else. So it all starts from what you think you are. So they think there's something else, and they therefore believe they want something else. And so their entire life is spent chasing after that. And then once they get it all, they're stopping in life and saying, really, this is not what I want. And so then they start changing things at a very late stage. Well, that's no problem. It still can be done at any point in time in life. But the question is, if you have an opportunity to get to discover that right now, isn't that going to be amazing? Because then you're going to really go in the right direction from the word go. So let's talk a little bit about the spiritual consciousness, or we call that soul consciousness. So who am I? I am a spiritual being, or I am a soul. And that many, in fact, whichever religion we go and draw from, they all talk about the soul in different ways. So I've spent my life, huge part of my life, 22 years in the Gulf. And so there they understand that we are Ruh. They don't use the word soul, but they say Ruh. And they understand that much higher than this body is the soul. They call it the Ruh. We have the word spirit that is used many times. And Holy Spirit. Or also, I am the psyche. So whatever we might give terms to it, we know that in India, it's known very often as the Atma. So the soul, the Atma, the Ruh, the spirit, give it whatever name, but it really is taking us to the core and the essence of who we are, which is eternal, which means never born, never shall it die. And so if there's something that's never born and it can never die, just try and envisage such an element, because it's very difficult for us to envisage eternity. Everything in front of our eyes, whether it's your laptop or your mobile, the screen that you have, or all the things around the house, your furniture, the lights, everything has been created, right? It has been created. This mobile didn't exist, but they put a lot of things together, and wow, suddenly got energy there. It's working very nicely. And there'll be a day when it will actually perish. It will expire. It will finish. So we are so used to seeing things being created and destroyed. But they say matter was never created, won't destroy, it will only change form. So in that sense, we know something there. Similarly, even the soul is the energy that was never created. It will never be destroyed. It will always remain. It has always existed, and it shall always continue to stay in existence. So just imagine you are that being, you and I, we are all that beings that will always exist. All those people in our lives we know today are all souls, each and every one of them. And so it's very important for us to start now changing the way I look at myself. Because the energy that I start feeling, imagine the energy I have of a person who's going to be expiring in maybe 10, 15 years, vis-a-vis a person who has no expiry date. I am eternal. Huge difference it makes to the way I can empower myself instantly. So just this one simple thought, I am an eternal being. Allow this thought to really sink in, right? Let's take a few moments, please. This meditation that we are learning, Raj Yoga, is very practical. And it really is there to help me shift the energy that I have been holding on to. So sit back, be easy. Take a few deep breaths in and out. It's very important that you're having an erect back. Yeah, you're relaxed, but still you are alert. I want you to now think about yourself as a beam of light, as a spiritual being, as a soul, an Atma that is existing in this body for a purpose. I am the life-giving source to the body. As I enter the body, I give it life. I utilize the body. And as I fulfill my purpose, I exit this body. And I continue my journey thereafter, carrying with me all those wonderful actions that I did, carrying with me all the qualities and virtues and all the blessings for what I did on earth. And I continue my journey. I am eternal. There is no beginning. There is no ending. Everyone I know around me, my kids and kin, my friends, they are all eternal beings. What we look at as death is just a change of the dress and the address. The person continues. Allow yourself to get in touch with this experience of eternity. I am eternal. Okay, thank you. Now that eternal experience is very important. Many times there's fear in our lives. Fear of growing old, fear of dying, fear of something suddenly happening. But the eternal aspect of life, and not just for me, I have that fear for others as well. And so we need to free ourselves from that fear through an important aspect of eternal experience. You can't just tell yourself that I'm eternal and then shift that fear away. Because fear is a state of feeling, right? It's basically an emotion, all right? But within the same category, it's a feeling that you have inside yourself. So it's very difficult for you to take a feeling away by just creating a thought intellectually. You cannot change that. You've got to create another very positive and powerful feeling in order to take this feeling away. And so when we meditate, we are creating these thoughts, we are understanding them with those images. And then what happens is that thought converts into a very strong and powerful feeling of eternity. And when you start feeling that I am eternal, then that fear automatically is gone out, because that fear then is baseless. Because the fear is always because of the fact that you have started feeling, because of the things we see around, that there is death, which is real, and we stop existing. The existence finishes. But when you understand that I am a soul and I'm eternal, then there is no death. And so there's a huge difference that takes place. And I had that personal experience when my own father passed away. That's when I just took this course and I was practicing for a few months. And when my father passed away, I had the experience of eternity already. And so I would not, like everybody else, my family, succumb to the idea that my father is no more. I say, no, he's of course not. He's not no more, just the body is no more. But he exists and he continues to move on. He has passed away. That's how I would really look at it. And I'm not just saying it, but I would know it. I knew it because I experienced it myself. So it's very important that as we keep talking about all these ideas of the self and learn these aspects, we have to experience them. But knowing it is important before you experience it. Otherwise, what is it that you're going to meditate upon? So our meditation in Raja Yoga is not just blank sitting down and going zero thought. You can't do that. You don't need to do that. It doesn't help you much. What you need to do is you need to shift from a very gross body conscious experience and awareness to soul. Now, let's take that further. When I look at myself as a soul, I understand that the soul, it can't be seen with the physical eyes. It's a tiny infinitesimal point of light, spiritual energy, right? And where is it situated in the body? Say that it's in the center of the forehead, just behind your eyes, sitting over there. And don't do this at home. They say that when you drill a hole on the top here and drill a hole here, the meeting space there is just above the hypothalamus. That's where the soul is residing. It resides there because, you see, the soul is the driver, the body is the car, the vehicle. So where will the driver usually sit? Right in the front, right? So you can see, you get to hear what's happening around you. And then you're using your senses to be able to navigate. And so the soul also is the master of the entire body. So the master sits just behind the eyes, taking those reins to see what it has to see. It hears what it has to hear, smells, tastes, everything is, the senses are just close in contact with this particular soul. And so that's when the soul is. And that's how we also have, if we look at the Atma, we put a tilak over here in the center of the forehead. We consider this place to be a very, very, very important place. Sometimes even a holy and sacred place. We also see that when we speak about our destiny, we say it's all written in the destiny. And we usually point to the destiny here. And so all of this are trying to show us that this is where the soul is, because your destiny is where the sanskars that we will see soon, what is it about? All that I'm doing in terms of my actions, the good actions that I'm doing, or even sometimes the wrong actions, it's all getting recorded here. And so that's when I'm carrying it with me wherever I go. So that's what they say, your destiny is. So that whatever will happen is destined over here. I mean, of course, you go and see nothing's written there. So what do they really mean? Figuratively, it means that this is where the soul resides, and that's where our destiny is. So that's the identity of the soul. Now, what is the soul made up of in terms of what are its qualities? Now, this is very important, right? The characteristics or the innate qualities of the soul. A, peace. So when I say Om Shanti, that's the first and the most, let's say, important quality that the soul has is of peace. You say Om, Om takes you away from the body and helps you to understand that you truly are the soul. That's why that even just reciting Om takes you away from the space of this mundane and physical. Om. Go within. When you say Om, you're going within and experiencing yourself as the soul, the eternal being, the spiritual point of light. Om. Shanti, peace. Means I am the soul who is peaceful. Peace is my religion. There's no other religion. All other religions made by the body, by men, by humans, all those stuff. Every other religion. True religion is peace. Love. I am love. Purity. I am pure. These are my original, eternal, innate qualities. Every soul has these qualities. I am happy. I am powerful. I am knowledgeful. So these are very important for us to have. We also take happiness to a certain higher extent, and we say, I am not just happy, but I am blissful. Because the original quality is not just happiness. Okay, I'm content, everything is fine, I'm okay. I understand myself to be a soul, I'm happy. But when you get into the real state of experiencing yourself as this being who is peaceful and pure and free from this body and everything else physical, there's an experience of bliss as well that comes along with that. And so I'm peaceful, I'm happy and blissful and loveful and powerful, wise and pure. These are the original and the innate qualities of the soul. How do you access all of this? Just by experiencing yourself as a soul, you access all these qualities. Just imagine, we've been chasing after all these qualities in different forms. I always believe that I will have this quality if that happens, when that takes place, whatever it takes place. But guess what? You just have to sit down and understand who you are. Once you do that, you experience them very naturally. What's the opposite of it? I am the body. And so if I'm the body, what am I looking at? Connecting to all the things that I think is minor, or my car, my house, my position, and all the other P's that I mentioned earlier. So if I'm connected to those things, what happens is, if I have more than somebody else, I feel egoistic. If I have less than somebody else, then I have jealousy. So when I'm in a body consciousness, I am instantly going to be taken away by 5 vices. Which are those 5 vices? Lust, anger, greed, ego, and attachment. These are the 5 vices that would dominate the consciousness if I'm only going to look at myself as the body. But I will look at myself as the body to do something. Body to help the soul to express itself. Right? Because what does the soul want really? The soul wants to express itself and experience great qualities. And through its expression itself, it starts experiencing. So if I'm a peaceful being, what do I want to do? I want to express and experience peace. I'm a happy being. I want to express and experience happiness and love. These qualities everyone wants to express and experience. However, since we've forgotten who we are trying to only express and experience it through the body, through what other people tell me, through the things that I have, through the physical comforts. So they do trigger off some of these feelings, no doubt. But identifying yourself only with them will create all the 5 vices that I mentioned. And so if I want to experience all these things without those vices, because these vices are very painful, right? When there's anger, how many people like anger? How many of us like the person who's very egoistic, arrogant? It's all about I, me, and myself. Why? Because I'm constantly comparing and I'm seeing that I have more than you, and so I feel egoistic. Whereas a person who is soul conscious also feels that I have everything. And I'm very rich with qualities, virtues, values, powers. I'm exceptionally rich and I'm eternal. So imagine that feeling of an experience of richness, of soul consciousness, versus somebody who's just feeling rich because of some physical things. So true richness is in soul consciousness. The other richness is false. And that person's constantly trying to prove that I'm the richest. And the moment somebody else becomes richer, I can't take it. And all that state which I thought I had experienced greatness suddenly falls down because ego got hurt. One way of knowing that I'm having ego is you will get hurt. If you're not having ego and if you're truly existing from a space of self-esteem, I feel good not because I have more than you. I feel good not because I'm better than you. I feel good because I am. I know who I am. I'm an eternal being, spiritual. I'm peaceful, loving, happy, pure, blissful. And so I am good. Simple. You are also good. You are also good. All of us are good. So I'm also having the same vision for you. So where's the ego now? Where's the anger? Anger comes when I think I'm bigger than you and I shout at you, right? If you notice, the boss gets angry with the employee. And if the boss's boss comes for the same thing, you don't get angry with your boss. Why? Because you understand that somebody is higher than me, so I can't shout at this person. I say, okay, no problem, sir. We'll take care of it. No problem. So your junior does it. How dare you do it? How can you do such a thing? Can't you see? How many times have I told you? But the boss will say, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. I mean, boss has done that mistake, but it's okay. We'll take care of it. So it's so important for us to know that where does all these things come from? It comes from body consciousness. It comes when you look at yourself from the external. That's when all these vices enter. You go inside, all the values come into play. So the awareness is so critical for us in our lives. In Hindi, the term awareness is smriti. Your smriti determines your vritti, your attitude. Vritti. Your vritti determines your drishti. This is the way you look at things. Drishti will determine your kriti, your actions. That will determine your anubhuti, is your experience. And that will determine your srishti. So from your vritti, there is your from your smriti. Smriti is the awareness. Smriti to vritti, drishti, and srishti. So when they say Jaisi drishti, Vaisi srishti. How you see things is how the world will be. Well, that depends on what you think of yourself, your smriti. What is your smriti about yourself? Who are you? So if you look at yourself as a spiritual being, you look at others also spiritual beings. And so if I'm peaceful, loving, happy, eternal, then how is my attitude and my vision for everybody, for the world? It's going to be very, very same, that the world also Everybody is souls. All of them are peaceful. They may be operating out of ignorance, but they are peaceful beings. And so what is my experience? Experience is also going to be peace and love. And therefore, what is the final srishti? It's a good world for me to live in. So, Jaisi Drishti, Vaisi Srishti. There are people who always look at the world as a very terrible place. All of them are useless. They all do this, they all do that. And that's exactly what you'll then see. But if you just change the vision and you start looking at everybody as souls, then you have a very different experience. I remember that there was I used to travel in a certain flight, and so there would be certain people I would meet. They'll say the people in that flight are very arrogant. They don't serve you properly. They're useless. Absolutely poor service. But I remember when I go there, I have a very different vision for the people I look at. And I look at them as beings of light, as souls. I don't look at them as people there to serve me. You're here, you're supposed to serve me, take care of me. I look at them with respect because I look at them as eternal beings, as souls. And then when I go and I speak to them with that respect, whatever I ask for, most of the time, 99 out of 10, 100, I'm served with happiness and with joy. And so I have a very different experience from what others. And I remember the same flight that, very recently somebody criticized it. They said, it's terrible. The service is, really gone to the gutters. And I had had that experience immediately. 1 week later, I was flying the same airline. And I got such appreciation. In fact, when I was leaving, they gave me this whole bag of goodies saying, please carry this with you for people at home, courtesy from our airlines. And so why such a huge difference in the experience that you feel? Because your world has changed now, because the way you think of yourself and the way you look at others is shifted. And so there's more virtues now in every transactions. In the other way, all transactions, there was vice. There's greed, there's ego, there's selfishness, there's jealousy, all those things. But when I start looking at myself as a soul, there's a different experience. So let's do this exercise now, a very beautiful exercise. So you know these qualities of the soul, right? So let's just take 3 of them: peace, love, and power. I'm a peaceful soul. Oh, Shanti. I'm a loveful soul, and I'm a powerful soul. If you take these 3, I want you to, let's go through a small exercise where we will try and experience them. All right. But you've got to be with me. This is an exercise. You've got to really activate. You have to participate actively with me. Is that okay? Can you do that, please? All of us? I hope you're all with me. Okay, so we've got to now definitely participate. So take the first quality of peace. Let's take the first quality of peace. We want to make this course of yours very practical, very real, and experiential. You experience it now by participating, you are definitely going to carry it with you. They say when your mind is stretched with an idea, it is impossible to go back to the place it was before. Get one idea, you just cannot go back. You have changed completely. So that's what we're going to do right now. So take this one, the first quality of peace. What I want you to do is now contemplate, what does peace mean to you? What is the meaning of peace for you? Take a minute and just think about the meaning of peace. Okay, great. For me, when I thought about peace, I thought about stillness. I thought about calm, serene. Because everything is there, but still there's a serenity. There's no disturbance at all of any sort. So whatever you thought of, I'm just sharing with you what I thought of as an explanation, but you have your own meaning, and so hold on to that meaning. Okay, someone thought freedom from disturbance. Yes, good. If you can share what you thought of as an experience, it'd be nice. So it's nice to gain more and more ideas of peace. So freedom from disturbance, peace. That's a nice way to look at peace. An angelic world. Wow. So you're looking at the space of complete tranquility. A space where you're ready to reach out and help each other. And that's peace. Beautiful. Okay, now that you know what peace means to you, we have freedom from fears, state of thoughtless place, it's a blank state. Well, what I want you to do is, feeling of comfort as well. Bring to the mind any image or picture that depicts peace for you. A picture, an image, or a symbol that means peace to you. Anything. Just take a minute to think about it. Think about it first. What is the picture that comes to your mind when you think of peace? Okay. So you want to share the picture that comes to your mind when you think of peace? Mountains, snow, and sky. Lovely, lovely. I was thinking about the depth of the forest. You're deep in the forest, absolutely still. You do listen to a few birds chirping, a little crickets, but yes, it's beautiful. Anything else? Birds. Okay, good. Another very image for me was, early morning before sunrise. For some, it's the sunset on the mountaintop, clouds in the sky. Okay, so beautiful. We have that. Spending time with each other in a good mood. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, good. And I know that all of us, the fact that we know what the picture is like, we've all had an experience of it. We know how it feels. Right. So now what we're going to do now is I want you to now bring that meaning of peace to your mind. Whatever you thought the meaning of peace was, all right? So just sit back now. And whatever you thought of peace as its meaning, bring that to your mind. Repeat the meaning in your mind. Now create that picture also in the mind. Bring that picture to the mind. See the picture very clearly whilst you hold the meaning of it. And when you hold the picture and you're aware of the meaning of it, now allow the experience, the feeling of peace to emerge. Feel that peace within now. And allow the feeling to grow. Like a being just growing. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now let's do this once more. And we're going a little faster now because we're getting used to it, we're learning it. Let's take the quality of love. Let's take the quality of love. I want you to bring to your mind now the meaning of love to you. What does love mean to you? Take a few moments, think about the meaning of love. And it's this universal love, yeah? It's not just love that is connected to a single relationship, but we're talking about more deeper aspects of love. What is love really? Fantastic. Okay. So for me, it's giving, 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 the energy of giving without expectations of getting back. Compassion together, scary. Okay, so now I want you to bring a picture to your mind of love. Think about any image that comes to your mind. Think of love, what's the image? Okay, so this is what I want you to do now. Become aware of the meaning of love. Repeat that meaning in yourself. What does it mean to you? And now bring the image of love to the surface of your mind. The picture of love. Make it very clear for yourself. And experience the feeling of love inside. And see it grow. And be in that space for some time. I am loveful. Now let's take the last one, which is power. Think about the meaning of power first. What is the power? What does power mean to you? It's really internal power. It's about the power inside. So for example, for me, power means having inner stability and determination to remain calm, to remain comfortable, to remain happy. That's power to me. Power is the ability to hold on to a single thought of positivity. So think about, what does power mean to you? When you feel power inside, what does it mean? Can you think about an image or a picture of power? What picture comes to your mind when you think of power? And so now I want you to just take this meaning, become aware of the meaning of power, repeat it in your mind. Bring that picture also to the mind. And allow the feeling to emerge. I am powerful. I am powerful. So as a soul, separate and free from the body, I, this eternal being, am peaceful. still. I'm silent. I'm loveful, caring, and giving. Because as a soul, I don't need anything. I don't take anything. I'm constantly giving. And in the giving, I'm experiencing. And as a soul, I am powerful. There is no fear. Nothing can shake me. I don't hold on to anything. There's no attachment. And so I'm free and powerful. I, soul, am peaceful. Feel it inside. Feel the peace with understanding. Feel the peace with understanding. I, the soul. When you say I, the soul, picture the self as a beam of light in the center of the forehead. I, the soul. Oh. Go beyond the body. I, the soul. Am peaceful. Loveful. Experience love flow in your heart. Am powerful. Feel the strength inside. I am peaceful and loveful and I'm powerful. What we also need to train ourselves is to see others as souls, not bodies, and to look at them and to know that they are also peaceful. They are loveful. They are powerful. And so that's a practice we can do tomorrow. And it'll be good that you come prepared to keep your cameras on. So then we could exchange that vision with each other. Remember, vision determines your world. Jaisi drishti, jaisi srishti. So we've got to tone our vision for others. So today is about toning your vision for yourself, realizing who you are. I am the soul in the body, eternal being. Tomorrow you've got to see how you've trained the eye to look at others as souls and create that same feeling. And so when I first emerge this feeling and I look at others with that feeling, then there's magic. Right, thank you so much. Wonderful participation. We have 5 minutes. So does anybody want to ask questions based on what we learned today or yesterday? You're more than free to ask. You can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask. Is peace, love, power just feelings? They definitely translate into feelings. They are virtues, they are innate qualities that we have. It's me, actually. I am peace. It's me, it's my whole being. It's this, it is a feeling, certainly, but also it is a quality, it's also a virtue. So there are qualities, virtues, and they also are feelings. So for example, the quality of love is giving unconditionally, caring, having compassion for others, forgiving. It's a quality. But also it's a feeling. When you actually are able to contemplate on the quality, you start feeling it. How to improve the awareness, sir? It's a practice that you have to constitute. Today, our natural awareness is the body. I look at you, you look at me, immediately you look at the body, you look at the shape, the shape, the size, the figure, the features, all that. We are very body conscious, and that's how we have become. And as we go and see advertisements, people outside, Hollywood, Bollywood, everything is making you more and more aware of the self as a body. And so now what you're doing is you're going to changing the awareness into the soul. And so what you're doing is you're going inward and saying, I'm a soul in the body. So you have to keep practicing it, keep reminding yourself, do it regularly. That's what meditation does. It helps you to improve your awareness of who you are. And as your awareness of the soul improves, automatically you will become peaceful, loving, and powerful, and all those other qualities. Repeat all levels from smriti to vritti, all words. Okay, so smriti, from smriti you have vritti, vritti you have kriti, kriti you have drishti, drishti you will have anubhuti. Sorry, I'm getting a little wrong. Smriti, vritti, drishti, kriti. Then you will start, your actions is your kriti. And then from there you'll have anubhuti, is your experience. Anubhuti, and then your whole world, which is your srishti. That's the last one. Thanks. Okay, soul also exists in animals. Yes, definitely. How to bring the concentration? There are so many disturbances. Yes, definitely there'll be a lot of disturbances. The mind is not used to focusing. What we just did with, the three things I said, think of the meaning of this word and then bring an image to your mind. Then what happens? You're forcing yourself to concentrate. Okay, the meaning of peace is to be still. The picture is a pond or the forest. Now what you're doing is you're focusing, you're concentrating. And when you do these two things, the mind and the intellect, and we'll see a little bit more about that tomorrow, when you bring them together, you are concentrating. Today, we were trying to help you concentrate. It may not be for too long, but at least you know now. I have to think. So you have to create a picture and you have to also bring the meaning of it. So two things together has a lot of wonderful ways of concentrating. Keep doing the practice that I've told you today. You will start improving your concentration. How to minimize distraction. So firstly, when you're meditating, try not to have too many things around you. Your face shouldn't be too moving. We try and keep the eyes open while meditating also. So what we're trying to get used to is, I am the master. I'm the master. So if I choose to do something, I have to do it. And so that's how we're going to try and see things. So obviously in the start, don't have too many things moving around. Keep a little bit silence. So don't have, at least physically you can reduce the distractions. And in a mental space, as you start creating, try not to just go blank in the mind, right? Try to create some positive thoughts. So when you're doing that and you start feeling nice, you like it, then automatically there'll be no distraction. When you know where you're going, when you see benefit there, then everything else is forgotten. Sometimes something's happening, they say, hey, you're so focused here, you don't know what's happening. Well, others got distracted because they had no focus. So have more focus, there'll be less distraction. More power to your soul in the pandemic. Can you brief SOS? SOS is stand back, observe, and steer. All you're doing is, whatever's happening in the mind, for a moment you just stand back, just observe the mind. What is happening in the mind now? I've been thinking about, oh, it's already 8 o'clock. It's this, I got to go and do this. Okay, you're just watching the thoughts, but you're not judging them. No judging, no analyzing. You just watch them. Okay, so that's happening. Okay, that's happening. That is happening. You're just kind of placing your finger on this finger. This thought is happening. This thought is happening. Okay, fine. You're not doing anything. You're not holding in, saying, don't do this, don't think like this. No. You're just looking at all those things. And then you're choosing a thought. Say, okay, today we learned today. Now you can choose. I am a soul and I am peaceful. Let me start with that thought. So you create that thought now, and then you start having the peaceful thoughts, and then you continue the work. Stand back, observe, and then steer in the direction you want. Okay, so I'm peaceful. And now what I'm supposed to focus is on this email that I'm sending to my client. So let me focus here. So do that regularly. Then you kind of clear your mind from all unnecessary. It's like a traffic control that you have when there's too much of traffic on the streets. You have a red signal, immediately everybody stops, amber, they're ready to go, and green, they go. So like that, SOS for your mind. stand back. Too many thoughts, observe them. Okay, now what is the thought that's necessary? What am I supposed to do? Steer in that direction. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, yes, spot on. Have a fantastic day. We will see you all tomorrow in the morning. Same time, same place. Om Shanti.
Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks, everyone. And let's practice about the soul consciousness today. And we'll meet again tomorrow morning. Thank you.